Good morning and welcome to today's daily word. We have reached the end of another week. I'm glad you join me for our daily word on this sunny Friday morning as we gather together. As always, I appreciate you joining me as we share our time together and our lives together, and that you carve out these few minutes to be with me on a daily basis, whatever that looks like, either in the moment or later in the day or even later in the week. So thanks for always chiming in and saying good morning to me as we gather together. So today is daily word number 718 as we continue our conversation. And I've chosen just this one verse from the beginning of Psalm 22, and they're words that we know. I don't know that we know them in this context, but they are words that we know. And they are this: my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me? From the words of my groaning. We are familiar with these words with Jesus on the cross. We speak them on Good Friday in Scripture. They're kind of seared in us, these words of Jesus on the cross, when he cries out to God, my God, why have you forsaken me? And the soldiers say, look, he's crying out to his God. Maybe his God will come save him. So we're familiar with these groaning words. And so I got to thinking about these words in light of, so it's Friday. So it's been a long week. And, life has this habit of cycling through unpredictable waves of equilibrium and disequilibrium. We go through ups and downs. Our hallelujahs are followed by fresh hellscapes. If we're lucky to live long enough and have enough life, we get hit hard again by happy times, sad times, happy times, upside down times. We just have all of that. And so this psalm speaks to us. So this week, I just was thinking about this early this morning. Went on Monday for injections in my knee that didn't help, didn't make any difference in the world. Tough conversations on Monday with a couple of folks, planning for a wedding with a couple, being with a family as their loved one is dying and spending time with them in prayer. Going to senior night at Fairlawn last night to announce senior night for the baseball team. And I'd love to do those kind of things and to recognize those seniors. Leaving there and driving to Shelby Hills because Carter and Hudson played wiffle ball last night, and that was fun, watching and cheering and sitting with all of them, only to come home and to receive a phone call that my friend Roy had died. Life, has this habit of going ups and downs. That doesn't include, text messages from a friend who's struggling with a family member and the difficulties of that, and just all the other things that happen to us in life. There's this reminder from the psalmist, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me, from the words of my groaning? And we cry out those words in our deepest, hardest moments in life. We cry out to them because we face this up and down cycle of life. But there's this reminder, that after we cry out to that, after we cry these words out, I think of the words of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemy. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That's Psalm 23. The verse I chose for this morning is the very first verse of Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? And the psalmist gets us, gets our difficulties, and then reminds us that in the midst of all of those ups and downs and the waves of our lives, we are led beside still waters. We're given provision for today, what we need for today. Our cups overflow, and mercy and goodness follows us. And whatever we see as the valley of the shadow of death, it doesn't have to be death itself. Whatever we see, though, as that valley, that darkest valley, we go through it. Because on the other side, the psalmist reminds us, is goodness and mercy. And so I was recounting all the conversations I've had this week. And all the things I've done, and they carry the gambit from fun soft wiffle ball games with little preschoolers to death, and holding the hand and praying with a person and a family who's dying. Conversations about weddings, honoring seniors. The list goes on and on. Being with the Crimson Bell ladies on Wednesday as we gather around the table at Maury's Landing at Lake Loramie, and talking about our friend Janet, who normally would gather with us around the table, and remembering the impact we all have on each other's lives and how important it is. There is, for us, those moments we cry out, but it's a reminder to us that no matter what part of this roller coaster that we're on, the stomach emptying deep dip of the roller coaster or the peak of joy, we're reminded that God is always present with us. Always, always, always. And when I'm defeated and I'm weary, as I am a little bit today, and I've already talked to the funeral home, we're trying to figure out what's going to happen next with this family as they grieve. It's this stark reminder, that God is present with us in the hardest moments of our lives and in the biggest, deepest peak of joy moments of our lives, and everywhere in between. And that's good news for us, I think, to end our week on. So, I hope that's a good word for you today as we end this week and as we share in our journey together. So thanks for joining me. Hope you'll join us Sunday morning for worship at 10:15. We are going to talk about the stoning of Stephen, the very first Christian martyr. I've never preached on this before in 39 years, so it's going to be a first, and it's an interesting story to remind us of God's call on all of us. So join us at 10:15 for worship. There's going to be a coffee hour right after downstairs. There is Wyatt Biddle's Eagle Scout Court of Honor at 2 o'clock. So I have a full day on Sunday doing all of those things. And then, of course, I hope you'll join me back here Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day and a great weekend. Know of God's love that surrounds you, and know of my love for you.